Alright, here's what it looks like, comrades. Look. Here it is. Kim Jong-il, holding the great Comrade Kim Il-sung in high esteem, is the noblest moral obligation of our party and people. This was a talk to senior officials of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, October 27th, Juche 88, or 1999. Next year, we will be marking the 55th anniversary of the founding of the Workers' Party of Korea. The history of our party is the history of the Juche Revolution, pioneered and led by the great comrade Kim Il-sung, and a glorious history of carrying forward and accomplishing his revolutionary cause from generation to generation. Since his demise, our people have steadfastly followed the road of the revolution amid the most severe situations and unprecedented trials, true to the party's leadership and the instructions. By frustrating every manner of historical challenge, we have defended our socialism and demonstrated to the whole world the strength of our socialist country and its invincibility. The political and ideological position of our revolution has been made solid. The military capability of our country has been consolidated at a level never before seen, and a springboard for fresh upswing in economic construction has been established. To mark the 55th anniversary of the party, all our people have turned out as one to build a great, prosperous, and powerful socialist country, and with their feats and innovations are adding luster to the new era of the Juche Revolution that has been ushered in by the party. We have achieved proud victories and successes in the sacred struggle to carry out the instructions of President Kim Il-sung. But there remains much more for us to do, and a thorny path along which we must force our way. We are yet to find a satisfactory solution to the problem of providing the people with adequate food, clothing, and housing, and achieve national reunification. I am always thinking of ways of making our people well off and our country prosperous, and achieving the reunification of our country as soon as possible. The nearer the significant 55th anniversary of the party is, the more I think about these matters. However, some departments of the Central Committee of the party are apparently working without any knowledge of my intentions or to what ends I am making such strenuous efforts. Some time ago, the Party History Institute submitted to me a suggestion that a statue of me be built to mark my 60th birthday. After going over the document, I wrote on it, "Permission not granted," and sent it down. Judging by the fact that they are making such a suggestion now, I can see that officials are still working without any knowledge of my intentions. The Party History Institute wrote to support their argument for erecting a statue of me. That a statue of the president was set up on Mansu Hill on the occasion of his 60th birthday. The days when he greeted his 60th birthday and the days when I am greeting my 60th birthday are hardly the same in terms of historical conditions and the social environment. President Kim Il-sung was the great leader of our state and our people, acclaimed by our nation for the first time in its history for thousands of years. Having embarked on the road of armed revolution in his early years, he led the anti-Japanese war to victory, winning back the lost country, and built on this land a socialist country that is independent, self-supporting, and self-reliant in defense, a prospering country for the people. He was a peerless patriot and founding father of socialist Korea who ushered in a new era of prosperity for our country and people. Thanks to him, our people could free themselves from their fate as colonial slaves, regain their self respect and rights as independent people, and enjoy genuine freedom and happiness. And thanks to his great ideas and leadership and his high reputation, our country could raise its profile to the world. To hold him in high esteem and add glory to his exploits is the supreme moral obligation of our party and people. However, prior to his 60th birthday, only the Liberation Tower in central Pyongyang had been built, and it celebrated the country's liberation, not his exploits. So, to mark his 60th birthday, I had a statue of him set up on Mansu Hill, reflecting the unanimous opinion and desire of the people. At that time, he knew nothing of the project. I took charge of it and pushed it forward in person. As he was a great leader whose exploits will live forever in the history of our country and revolution, it was only natural that a statue of him should be erected in the central part of Pyongyang, the capital of revolution. The statue of him on Mansu Hill represents the peerless patriot, the father of the nation, and the founder of Socialist Korea. Still today, our people visit the statue, lay bouquets in front of it, and pay tribute to him on holidays, on the days when they are happy, and on significant days in their lives. In doing so, our people are expressing their noblest moral obligation to him. However, my 60th birthday is different. I am a revolutionary who has inherited the president's cause, defends his exploits, and exalts their brilliance. As one of his men, I have assumed the historic mission of making our people well off, reunifying the country, and accomplishing the revolutionary cause of Juche, true to his intentions. I cannot have a statue of me erected on the excuse of my 60th birthday, when I still have many important tasks to do in honoring the pledge I made before his buyer, like those of economic construction, improving the people's standard of living, and reunifying the country. I cannot permit a statue of me to be erected when national reunification, which is so earnestly wanted to see, and for which he made so much effort, has not yet been achieved. I have not the slightest intention of seeking power or official position. My one and only desire is to hold the president in high esteem and faithfully carry forward and accomplish his cause. After he passed away, our officials and people presented the suggestion and expressed the wish that I be elected president of the republic. As this did not conform to my faith and will, I could not accept it. In order to put to rights communist morality, which had been marred by the renegade revolutionaries, careerists, and schemers in the international communist movement, and to instill in our people the unshakable faith that the president will always be with them, I had the state structure reformed, and had it stipulated by law that he is the only and eternal president of our republic. In this new state structure, I have assumed only the chairmanship of the National Defense Commission. Another official is charged with administrative power. It seems that our officials do not fully understand what the party intended when it had the Constitution altered and the state structure reformed. The world admires our party's noble sense of communist moral obligation in holding the president in high esteem, revering him and being loyal to his cause, and even the hostile forces do not dare slander us with regard to it. However, our officials failed to view the matter of setting up a statue of me in relation with the president's authority. which suggests that their level of understanding of the sense of communist moral obligation is low. Before suggesting it, the officials should have considered carefully whether erecting a statue of me only a few years after the demise of the president would express their sincere support for their leader, and whether it might not damage communist moral obligations. At present, I am thinking of nothing else but how to achieve national reunification and build a great, prosperous, and powerful country in this land by carrying forward the president's revolutionary cause. So I wonder why they suggest erecting a statue of me, which I do not wish. It is not consistent with my intention to inherit and accomplish this revolutionary cause with a sense of communist moral obligation. The suggestion to erect a statue of me to mark my 60th birthday is far from a communist point of view, but an expression of an outdated way of thinking, that a dinner should naturally be arranged when one reaches the age of 60. Moreover, I recently reminded that our officials that the president had said that 60 is the prime of life, and 90 is the first step to old age, and that it would be improper to celebrate one's 60th birthday in the prime of life. Therefore, it would be unacceptable to erect a statue of me to mark my 60th birthday. I am also strictly prohibiting the making of feature films about me. Since I am still working full of vigor, there is no need for such films. Erecting a statue of me is also contrary to the conviction that is deeply rooted in the minds of our people. All our people call me the general, who is one and the same as the president. And poets sing that the president is the general and the general is the president. Under such circumstances, it would be improper to make people think that they see me and offer their best wishes to me when they lay bouquets in front of the statue of the president and pay tribute to him. It would be wrong to separate the president and me in the minds of the people by setting up a separate statue of me. The people's convenience should also be taken into account. We have built the Kamsusan Memorial Palace, where the president lies in state, as the supreme sanctuary of Juche, and erected statues of the president and of my mother, Kim Jong-suk, at historic places. On holidays and significant anniversaries, our people visit the statues, pay homage to them, and take pledges of loyalty. If a statue of me was erected, people, after visiting the Kamsusan Memorial Palace, or of statues of the president to pay homage, and then statues of my mother, would find it inconvenient to visit a statue of me as well. They put up a statue of him after he died, actually. With the approach of my 60th birthday, some officials apparently think that a statue of me should be set up as a memento of this occasion. But what is important to me is leaving behind achievements, not a statue. The history of a great man is not adorned with a statue or a monument in his memory, but with his ideology and achievements. Officials, if they are truly loyal to the party and the leader, should make every effort to support the ideology and leadership of the party more faithfully and defend and glorify its achievements. Before broaching the matter of setting up a statue of me, it is wrong to think of setting up a statue of me without trying to add anything to the party's achievements. Back in the 1970s, statues of President Kim Il-sung were erected, but there is no need to build one of me now. If you are revolutionaries who are true to your communist moral obligations, you should propose erecting a statue of me after reunifying the country at the earliest possible date, not right now. It would be a different matter if you were to request my approval for setting up a statue of me in the reunified country. If we achieve the reunification of the country by carrying forward the revolutionary cause of the president, people will set up a statue of me of their own accord. This would be in line with communist moral obligations, and I would feel worthy of such an honor, given by the people, and proud of having waged the revolution. I will be joining you as soon as I'm done crying while reading this, Zoot. A suggestion was once put forward by our officials that a statue of me be built in Mount Gangja. There is something irrational in such a way of thinking. Mount Gangja is by nature different from Kosengjin. Kosengjin is a place of most historic significance, where President Kim Il-sung mapped out a plan for the counteroffensive and made preparations for it during the grim period of the Fatherland Liberation War. Mount Gangja, however, is not associated with my revolutionary activities or achievements. I only stayed there for a few days, during the war when I was young. The proposal to build a statue of me on Mount Gangja was not made out of any political consideration. I made this point clear to the officials on receiving the proposal. Some officials apparently think that I have turned down their proposals because it is a personal matter, but they are misguided. To refuse a favor out of nothing but modesty defies reason. To give prominence to and support the leader of the revolution is a fundamental issue related to the destiny of the revolution, and it should be resolved to all intents and purposes in conformity with the requirements and principles of the revolution. The revolution requires its center of unity and emerges victorious only under the guidance of its leader. Victory can be achieved in the revolution only when the people acclaim to and are solidly rallied behind an outstanding leader. I do not refuse favors in an unprincipled manner or approach them in an unscrupulous way simply because they concern me. I approve them if they conform to the demands of the revolution. I have not agreed to the proposal to erect a statue of me because it runs counter to the demands of the revolution. Some officials say that I initiated the setting up of a statue of the president to mark his 60th birthday, that there is nobody who can do the same for my 60th birthday, and that they should do it. They claim that a statue of me will be set up on their initiative. I've heard some officers of the People's Army support this argument. I am leading the revolution and construction by dint of my strength, my ability. The president taught me that I should not hope for others to promote me, but lead the party and the revolution by my practical ability. True to his instructions, I have led our party over the last 3 decades, since I started working at the Central Committee of the party and when a revolution was undergoing severe trials after his death. I defended the country, the revolution, and socialism through Songun-based revolutionary leadership by relying on the army. Our revolution is still experiencing great ordeals at present, but we are waging a dynamic struggle to build a great, prosperous, and powerful socialist country, filled with confidence and optimism. Even the US imperialists do not dare provoke us, since we are standing up to them without any facilitation. It is recognized worldwide that I am possessed of unique political method and leadership ability, expressed in achieving the single-hearted unity of revolutionary ranks of rallying the service personnel and people, and in leading the revolution and construction to a fresh upswing in the face of a complex situation. I prefer winning such recognition to having a statue of me erected. Some officials wanted to have a statue of me set up without me being aware of it, since the project concerned me. They could not and should not do so. Drawing in the historical lessons of the revolution, I have always shown an interest in anything related to myself, and demanded that everything, whether big or small, be carried out after obtaining my approval. As I thought that such a problem as erecting a statue of me might arise, I have paid special attention to the Mansudae Art Studio and other units that might be involved in the project. I already knew that some officials went to their art studio and gave it the task of creating a statue of me. I intended to offer my comments on this matter. It was quite wrong for them to have tried to have a statue of me built behind my back. I would never overlook or approve such an attempt. Anyone who proposes something that is contrary to my intentions can only be recognized as someone who is not faithful to my intentions. Such a person is not a comrade who has bonded with me in the course of arduous struggle, but a workmanlike official who has not undergone proper revolutionary training. Now, when our people are striving to implement President Kim Il-sung's instructions after his demise, while on the arduous march and forced march, you should not propose anything that is contrary to my intentions, rather than trying to give me encouragement and assistance. The relations between leader and officials should be truly comradely relations, based on revolutionary faith and sense of communist moral obligation, not merely those of issuing instructions and obeying them. The word comrade denotes people who share the same feelings and even life and death on the road of revolution. That the relations between the leader and officials should be comradely means that they should be those in which the latter support the former wholeheartedly and think and act true to the former's ideas. If they are to carry out President Kim Il-sung's revolutionary cause, officials should be faithful to the intentions of the leader, who had inherited his cause. They should follow him as their political leader and support his ideas and intentions. They should not follow him merely as a hierarchical leader, to whose official position they are subordinated. Following the leader in this way is insincere, and nothing but a display of form. I do not like form for its own sake. Our officials should not stick to formalistic or ceremonious approach, but follow and support their leader without the slightest self-interest and pretense. Claiming that they are supporting his leadership and instead acting contrary to his intentions, or claiming that they're carrying out party policy and instead hindering its implementation and impairing the party's authority, is related to an insincere and impure stand and attitude on the part of officials in supporting their leader. All our officials should fully honor, sincerely support, and steadfastly defend their leader with the unshakable revolutionary faith and a clear conscience. They should think and speak in line with his ideas and intentions and always be in step with him. Officials who do as their leader says and orders them as genuinely loyal officials. I regard as my revolutionary comrades sharing my feelings and even life and death with me those officials who achieve substantial results by conducting their work in a responsible and effective manner true to my ideas and leadership, and just send a congratulatory letter to me on my occasion of my 60th birthday. Don't make a statue, just send a goddamn letter, Kim Jong-il says. Some officials have broached the issue of erecting a statue of me, but I am planning to have a monument built in honor of our young people. Our revolution was pioneered by young communists under the leadership of Comrade Kim Il-sung, and our youth have played a major role in each period and at every stage of the revolution. Young communists upheld the great leader as the Hanbyeol lodestar in the early days of the anti-Japanese revolutionary struggle, and young people took the lead in building a new country. Heroes including Ri Su-buk were produced from among the young people during the Fatherland Liberation War. After the war, young builders completed the Hiju-Haesong Railway project in a short span of time, and young people like Kil Hyuk-sil and Ri Sin-ja stood in the vanguard of the campaign to remold people through the Komilla Work Team movement. These days, too, young people are taking charge of difficult, heavy tasks in national defense and major construction projects. Under the unfavorable conditions, when everything is in short supply, they are carrying earth and stones on their backs to build such monumental structure as the Pyongyang-Nampo motorway. They are truly excellent, and there is nothing we should spare for them. Our party always trusts in them and directs great efforts to the development of the youth movement. I am making the revolution together with them, and I intend to do everything I can for them. That is why I have given much thought recently to where the monument in honor of the young people should be built. Our people, too, will support my intention. Senior officials of the party central committee must be the first to understand the issue of erecting a statue of me and educate their subordinates properly. They should deal with not only this issue, but all other work in line with the leader's ideas and intentions, out of a true sense of loyalty to him. Comrade Kim Jong-il. There you go. 1999.